Okay, we'll wait a couple minutes because I'm sure Lori will. I think she exchanged emails with Chris about the June 5th Trail Day and invited him to the meeting. Is that true, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Just to let you all know too, and then I think Chris, I just emailed you today. The township would be doing the declaration for a National Trail Day.
Awesome.
Is that what you were talking about?
Right. I was hoping to tell the group a little bit about it.
All right, perfect. All right. I just wanted to, confirm that you were the person I was emailing with earlier.
I lost my clock here, so
6 o'clock, Jen.
it's 6 o'clock. Well, I don't know what happened to Lori. Looks like there's the three of us. I did not get any emails from her saying she couldn't make it, so why don't we go ahead and start? We'll call the meeting to order at about 6:02. Does that look?
Yep.
Looks good.
Roll call. Jim Searing, I'm at Hilton Head, South Carolina. And go ahead, Dana. You're Dana Bird.
Dana, I'm at home in Saugatuck Township.
Okay, and Erica.
Erica Barman. I'm at home in the township too.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start. Public comments. Why don't you start, Chris? Tell us your thoughts on the Trail Day.
Okay, if you don't mind, I wrote something just because I wanted to make sure I said said what I wanted to say. So my name's Chris Clark. I'm a resident of Saugatuck Township. I retired a few years ago. I wanted the commission to know that that Radar Hill Hiking Club is organizing an observance of National Trails Day for our area on June 5th. And as you heard earlier, at the next council meeting, the supervisor is going to issue a proclamation recognizing the day, which is awesome. This is an event that started 25 years ago, and there are now, or there have been, more than 1,000 observances across all 50 states. As far as I know, it's the first time it's ever been observed here in this area. Trails Day is about advocating for trails and promoting land conservation. Some of you may not be aware there's more than 20 hiking trails within 5 miles of the Blue Star Bridge, and a lot of people don't know about them or all of them. The main activity on Trails Day is going to be something we're calling a trail scramble that's going to introduce visitors and local folks to some of the trails and hopefully spark interest in their exploring some of the other ones. So between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., people are going to be able to pick up a trail card, I can show you if you'd like, at the Visitor Center in Douglas, and then they can go to any of 8 trailheads that we've selected for the day, where a volunteer will stamp their card. If they collect 3 stamps, and the back of the card are going to be coupons that'll become valid, and that'll give them some special deals at area merchants. After the trail scramble ends at 4 o'clock, if anybody has 6 stamps, they'll be eligible for a prize drawing with some nice stuff that's being donated again by the merchants. We're hoping to have some other activities like a service project. We're still working on that. And the Visitors Bureau is going to release a new map of hiking trails that I developed. And so I think that's going to be nice, a paper map that people can carry around. Guardian Brewing is going to offer 4 varieties of a special ale brewed for the day. And there's several organizations involved. So the Rotary Club is kicking in some money along with the visitor center who is funding the map. There's a scout troop is going to be involved, the Outdoor Discovery Center, the History Society, some of the local conservation groups, and so forth. So we've got a fair number of people involved. The Radar Hill Hiking Club is something that I organized. It's an outgrowth of another group that I think you're aware of, the Tri-Community Trail Master Plan that John Vanderbeek has gotten started. I've been very active in that group too. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'll be happy to answer any questions about the Trails Day or the Hiking Club or the Trail Master Plan.
I have
Chris,
one comment. I got a letter from an email from Clark Carmichael from the Blue Star Trail Group.
Yep.
And they wanted me to check with the Christian Reformed Church on the corner of Blue Star and Old Allegan Road. And I believe they want to set up a little booth there at the new section of the trail.
That little shelter that they have, yeah.
Yeah, yes. So
Cool.
I'll check with them when I get back to Saugatuck.
Cool. I suggested to them that they set up at the Burger King, but that somehow that didn't appeal to them.
Okay. Are there any other public comments?
Well, Jim, I had a quick question for Chris. Where in Douglas did you say that people will pick up the cards, the trail card?
At the visitor center on the Blue Star.
Oh, at the visitor center. Okay.
Yep. And I'm hoping we'll get all this in the commercial record and, well advertised ahead of time.
Okay. Sounds like a great event.
Yeah, I'm looking
Sounds like a lot
forward.
of fun.
Any other questions for Chris?
Is
Okay.
your hiking group active at this point?
So far, it's just an email list. And I've tried not to barrage people with emails. We'd like to get started with some regular sort of organized hikes. But, who knows with the pandemic, it's a little iffy when is a good time to start. But I'm thinking maybe we'll try to still do the one this month to maybe be the first one.
Cool. Thank
Lori,
you.
why don't you missed the roll call. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, Lori Gosshorn, Saugatuck Township.
Okay.
Yeah, my internet was working really slowly.
Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
Oh, Jim, can I say a few words, please?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Jump in.
Thanks. Daniel DeFranco, 6122 Old Allegan Road. I can't stay this meeting, but I just wanted to say hi and introduce myself. I'm going to be chairing a special committee under the Township Planning Commission dealing with rural character and conservation. And in that committee, we are going to be looking closely at your Parks Master Plan. And hopefully I'll be able to attend some of your future meetings, but I wanted to log in and say hi and let you know that we're going to be looking into what you guys have done. And I just kind of wanted to express my appreciation for all that you've done. Over this past year, I've gotten to explore a lot more of the trails in our area, and I've become quite partial to River Bluff Park. And I know that a lot of people didn't even know it was there and now really, enjoy checking it out and some of the beautiful, just massive oak trees there are there. So I notice your efforts there and I appreciate them very much. And I also appreciate just how active of a commission you are. I enjoyed participating in your Blue Star cleanup in the fall. And I just hope to, see more of your efforts and, just want to say thank you.
Thanks a lot. Some giant tulip trees out there too. I'm sure you noticed.
Yes.
It's I think the history of it was an old farm that got cut in half by the interstate, and the township acquired it and we've made it into a nice park. We're glad you enjoy it, and it's really unique views of the river.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, approval of the agenda. You'll notice the agenda has changed a little bit from our past meetings. So does anybody have any comments or additions, corrections to the agenda?
I'm curious why there isn't much with regards to parks and park activities, and it seems to be a lot of bills and budget, and I don't know.
I think, okay, we will discuss some of the changes as we go through
Okay,
them. Okay.
Well, I'd motion to approve the agenda.
I
Second. Oh, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just a reminder, you have to do a roll call.
Up to what?
You have to do a roll call with
Okay,
an open meeting.
is it
act
Zoom?
for Zoom.
okay. Lori,
Yes,
Erica? Erica?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, didn't hear you, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Dana?
Yes.
Jim, yes. Okay, the next item are our minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, any corrections, additions, changes, which would be corrections? Okay, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
Roll call, Lori,
Yes,
Erica,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Jim, yes. Okay, the bills. Can we scroll to the next page, Joe?
Yep.
hey, Joe, is there any way to make the view larger? It's really small on my screen. Thank
Much
you,
better,
that's
thank
much
you.
better.
So before we move on, Jim, if I can explain if we can talk a little bit about the agenda outlook, and then I'll explain what this is too. Is that fine with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So to talk to you all, in order to help go through, and I talked with Jim about making these changes to the agenda, is just to have active items coming on. So particular projects that you're talking about to talk about in the new business or old business. And then all your reports would be under the reports for the park commissioners to talk about. That way, instead of with under new business of just talking about the same thing, it's only new projects coming up, and then any park update would be in the commissioner's report. And then so that's just the explanation of the change. And then here's the bills for you.
So these are the invoices or the bank invoices paid between the end of February and the end of March. So that's this line. The next line, or the next page is and that's a summary. There was 600 and something dollars in it. The next page is a summary of where we are in relationship to our budget. So our amended budget is 16.3. We've spent 11,574. There was $645 spent in the month of March. And then, at least in my screen, what's hidden behind the pictures of us all is about 400 or 4,000. I guess I see it down at the bottom there, 4725. So that's what's left for the rest of the fiscal year. When Joe and I talked, we talked about how this is presented, what we had done in the past, reviewed the detailed charges, and we decided that since he reviews those and then the board approves them or disapproves them, that it's really not necessary for us to review the details and vote on it. So this is his recommendation for how we handle our review of the financials. Does anybody have any comments about this?
So if I understand you, we're going to be given the financials not to look at, but to vote on?
No, go ahead, Joe.
So what we're doing here is like always, you will be getting a review of what was spent in the parks per month. So this is from the pay period. So this period month is $645.90, which budget, as Jim mentioned, is $1,630. You've spent $11,574, which leaves $725, which we are just entering the third quarter. So you're just, perfect. You're pretty much on ball with expenditures as we would predict by the percentage here. So you guys will be getting this all the time, but the board already automatically approves the bills. They approve the bills for the township at the board meeting. So you guys will still be getting this information. You just don't have to approve the bills because they are approved by the board, not the park commission.
That's not new though.
No, but you have before voted on them. So one of the things I noticed that you guys were voting on them, I just wanted to say you don't have to vote on them because they're being voted on by the township board for approval.
So we're just presented them to look at to see if we're on track or if there's anything weird that we want to bring up
Right.
for follow-up, but we don't need to vote to approve anything. We just
No.
get the information to look at it and discuss and then move on.
Correct.
Or
Okay.
flag something if we, see something weird, like you said.
Yep, and then I'll explain. Or I'll go back and then come back and explain.
Okay.
So when it's talking about, for example, subcontracted labor, that's like mowing.
Yeah, so subcontracted labor, we budget, so how it has been budgeted in the past is 6,000 for services, and then it gets broken out amongst these funds. So
Okay.
in here, you budget 6,000, and then these lines all are subcategories that would equate to the 6,000. So this way you can see what's happening budget within the park budget every month.
Because it's kind of cut off at the top too, just in case you. Yeah. Okay.
In your packet, you should have, you have
Yes.
the full document, so.
Yes. I just don't. Go ahead. I don't know.
Any
Okay.
questions on the budget? All right. Back to you, Jim.
Okay, the next item is the budget report or budget recommendations. So this talks about next year's budget. And I'll go ahead and let Joe explain this part of it.
So me and Jim spent 2 days, about 2 hours, about an hour each, kind of going over what we're looking at in the budget for this upcoming fiscal year and what we presented. So the park system operates out of Department 751 under the general fund, which is Fund 101. As you see in the budget document here, it's 101751, that's the department. The last 3 years, the park has seen operating expenditures range from almost $14,000 to about $16,000, and that's project dependent. The township does operate a capital fund that is for large maintenance of capital projects within the parks. That is account number 408. So this year, once me and Jim talked, we are planning within this budget to spend $17,900. So that's traditional, normal operating expenditures, with $2,000 towards trail maintenance this year within the general fund. So that's for the dog park items. That was one of the list requests that Jim had. And then in the project fund that for trail repair near the fire department for the Blue Star Trail, there would be $35,000 you budgeted to fix that maintenance. So that's what's being recommended in the park lines.
Hey, I had a question, maybe it's for Joe. The 408 fund, you call it a park project fund, is that, or is that just the general? I mean, that's for like everything, right? I mean, it's not.
No, there are two capital improvement funds the township operates. One is just a plain capital project fund that is for the township general projects. And then the parks itself has a separate parks project fund, which is Fund 408. And that is for what it is. These funds are for everybody, is an accounting tool to show money going from the general fund into a particular project fund.
Yeah.
And it's paid out of that way. So the parks does have one dedicated park project fund, which is 408. And that is where the trail repair will be coming from.
Okay, so that's basically to track like a large capital thing that
Yeah.
would come out of the general fund, go into the park project fund, and then be dedicated for that park repair specifically.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, just that park repair.
Okay, thanks.
Any questions? Other questions?
Yeah, Dana, you had originally,
Come on.
it appears that the township is going to absorb the entire cost of this repair. And because last time I talked to Joe, he had not heard anything positive from the contractor or from Hurley Stewart. Is that enough, or what do you think about this whole thing? What's your feeling?
Yeah, we'll see. When I talked to Joe about it, we talked about coming up with a plan where we would create basically a figure that then the township could get some quotes from some contractors on. And, you know, we're budgeting 35,000 for it. I guess we'll have to see where the bid comes in, and what aspects of that scope of that repair, you know, get included in all of that. So that's something that I am working on with Joe.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the idea is that would basically fill behind the slope, and then we would be able to repair the damaged part of the trail. Whether or not we do anything to the fence and retaining wall with that, I guess we'll have to look at that to see what all gets included. But certainly filling the slope and extending the pipe that's there and replacing the asphalt, you know, that it got more complicated because now consumers had to reset that pole after that truck hit the wires. You know, so there's more to it now even than there was before. So,
Is there any contribution by consumers then?
That would be something that we'd have to look into, but
yeah.
we're not budgetarily, we're not budgeting for anything. So that's why we put the 35,000 in.
Did any car insurance or truck insurance cover any of this?
This is not the bridge repair.
Oh,
This
I
is
guess so.
the pavement near the fire hall.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay, any other question? The one comment I have is, I don't remember the elected official salary, our salaries be included in this, in the 751 fund last year. So I'm curious
Right
if
here.
that, is it in here?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess I missed that. I didn't think it was in there, but okay. I don't have any other questions.
All right.
Let me go back to the agenda. Okay, the old business, when we get to the manager's report, Joe, since most of the things in our old business were items that we had talked about, some of us would have updates, and then
Hey, Jim.
manager would give updates on, for example, the bridge that got hit and the status of the insurance and the repairs. So all of that has been moved to the manager's report, which comes up under item 9. So unless there's something related to, I'm not sure at this point exactly what we will include in old business. So right now we have nothing in old business. So let's go to the new business. The budget report and the budget update, more or less for the same thing, I think.
So I just, Jim,
Yes, go ahead.
so I went to new business and we just talked about the budget recommendation. And then the
Right.
second item is the strategic goal plan
Right.
setting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so why doesn't Joe talk about the strategic goals in the new business?
So to assist in next year's budget planning document, similar as if you're probably familiar, the township board has gone through a strategic goal setting for the board as a whole. The Township Parks Commission has our park and recreation plan, which sets a number of goals that we would like to do. What I would like to work with the Parks Commission on this year is having a strategic goal within that plan so that it feeds into our capital improvement plan so that we can strategically plan any improvements, what we're looking at in the parks. Do we need to apply for any grants going forward? And this will help us focus so we can make some large projects and steps going forward. So I just wanted to let you know that is my plan to work with you all over this upcoming year. Any questions? Because the goal is to, as we go through this year, next year we can start applying for grants in the next spring. The state grants tend to be in April, and then there's other grant opportunities that we can look at. But in order to apply for these grants, we have to prove that we have a plan, and there's, different outcomes to weigh depending on the grant. And this will help us prepare for those grants for anything that we want to do. But we have to identify first what we want to do in what order. So for the next couple months, we'll be doing some exercises to do that. Any questions?
So I think when you say in the next couple of months, we'll do some exercises, what you're talking about is having, just like the board has done, to have a separate special meeting that we would focus on the 5-year park plan and, you know, our most current and higher priority things. And if there's anything else, updates or changes to the 5-year park plan. That's in effect what we would do at these special meetings, sort of like the board does to set their objectives.
So we can have them at special meetings, or we can just do them at our normal meetings
Okay,
as a, you know, an exercise workshop. That is why I attached the park and rec plan, but apparently I sent you the wrong one, which is a draft. And I emailed you all the updated one that was approved. So that's just to review, so that when we start working on this, that you actually have the document in hand, so that you're familiar with it. So when we start talking, you know, we all have the same information.
okay. Any questions regarding that?
Sure.
Well, I would like to just suggest that we consider having some kind of a special meeting, because if we try and do this monthly, this is going to be a long, drawn-out process. And some of these things need to happen in a more timely fashion, unless we're talking about
We have
things we haven't already discussed.
a lot of the things have been discussed in the park and rec plan, so you have the foundation of what needs to be done. Now it's just kind of strategically picking which ones you want to do, and is there an additional special project that we want to do that's changed over the last 2 years. So we have an entire, 10 months to get this wrapped up and ready to go before we do the next budget process. So we have a while to get it working on.
So there's no exigency in any of this for you?
There's no, for the township and for, I would recommend to the commission that, there's no urgency that we need it done, 5 weeks from now. The reason why I'm bringing it up now is so that we have time to do it, that we have the time to breathe and have open discussions at meetings and, really think about it. Take the time to review, what do we want to do? So.
Yeah,
And
I
it
would
also
hope that
helps
we could
get to know you all.
do that at a meeting where we actually all could sit down together. It's a little difficult to do it in a Zoom meeting. At least that's my feeling. There's a lot of paper that we could be passing around and looking at. And so I guess we'll just see how things progress over the next few months. Anything else on that at this point? This is a lot of the things we had going on in work in progress, I guess you could call it. Things about the Blue Star Trail, bridge maintenance, and so on and so forth. So those are things that Joe will cover, and that'll be a permanent part of the agenda going forward. So Joe, I'll hand it over to you.
So in the park report, just a couple of highlights. The Blue Star Trail, that is Blue Star Trail Committee, is working on finalizing an engineering agreement to start the engineering process. That will be going before all 3 municipal boards for approval. So that hopefully that comes along. The Blue Star Trail Bridge maintenance, which Erica was referring to earlier. I was told that it would start at, towards the end of this week. They started at the beginning of this week, if you remember why, which is really nice. They've taken out the poles that have been replaced, put new ones in. The actual deck is now level, and it looks to be like hopefully by the end of the week it should be done, or at least next week. So that's good. Just an update. The rest of the stuff is just kind of general updates on what's been going on over the last month. Do you have any questions that was in the report? No? Okay.
Sorry, I had a question. Do we have it in the works to get the driveway regraded into the dog park?
Oh, all right. So oh yeah, I didn't want to talk about. So that's in the
It says it
dog.
has been regraded. Was that just done in last week or so?
Yeah, it's been done like 2 weeks ago. I had it done, and then
Okay.
I did note it here under dog park maintenance. Here that it had been regraded. I am working to get, if you recall, the gate to that back dispatch tower in the back that has the gate from it. I'm working with our contractor to brush hog it to make it look a little bit nicer. Also for the entrance to the park, to kind of push it back a little bit so it looks more like an entry to a park, and it's safer when you pull in and pull out. And then to brush hog a bit on each side of the fences between that trail that goes out to that tower and the fence. That way, all the burrs are pulled back, so there's not brush next to the fence. It makes it easier for any fence maintenance to be taken care of in the future. So it's just a general cleaning of the park. So I did want to mention that. That was in the report. Any other questions?
I'm just wanted to let you know, everything froze and I've missed everything up until now.
Oh, so Lori, we just went over the park manager report. So just quick highlights. The Blue Star Trail Bridge, that's almost done. We are getting some trail agreements for the Blue Star Trail connection. And then the dog park drive has been regraded. And then I'm working to get some brush hogging down to lower risk of ticks, safer entry, and beautify the park a little bit more, and make it easier for fence maintenance in the future.
So where is this brush hogging going to be? And because if it's in the entryway, people drive in and park. So that's not a real high risk area.
So it would be on the driveway coming in around the fence, that wooden fence near the gate that goes to the dispatch tower, and then around the fencing that goes between the dog park and the trail that goes out to that dispatch tower.
Okay.
Okay. And I think as far as the Blue Star Trail Bridge, that's, I saw the email from Dana that they're going to start construction on it this week or the first of next week.
The Blue Star Trail Bridge that's getting fixed next to the RV park there, that's already almost completed. So that will be hopefully finished next week.
Okay.
Which is, located near Veterans Park.
Okay. The River Bluff Shoreline Restoration. you want, I mean, you and Dana probably know more about exactly where this
Yeah, I don't have an update
is.
from that. So the most recent update is what I have in the report.
Okay. The final one, the Blue Star Trail, the joint study committee that's going on. I have not called into the most recent calls. I guess, Joe, you're just gonna keep, because you're part of that, you and Cindy and
Brenda, yep. So
Brenda.
hopefully we'll begin that proposal this week.
Okay, so the Blue Star Trail Group has gotten their engineer and they're working on some new plans, the engineering plans.
Yeah, we have to do some administrative work before they can start engineering plans.
Okay. So I guess in summary, the changes in this, the new agenda, new old business, new business and so forth, will, and the park managers, the manager's report on parks, Joe will do that every meeting to keep us up to date on what's
happening.
going on. Down here, open commissioners report. We've eliminated where we talk about each of our parks. So I guess at that section, we would each, if we have any concerns or issues that have not already been brought up to Joe, and I wanted to encourage everybody that if you happen to be at a park and you see a problem, a tree down or something, that you should call Joe right away so the problem could be addressed. So as far as our open commissioners report, at this point, I don't have anything else to add. Does anyone have any questions about it?
No.
Okay. Well, my question then to Joe is, in the future, will you continue, you prepared this agenda. In the future, will you continue to prepare the agenda?
Yes.
Similar
So
the
similar,
same point?
yep,
Okay.
similar to how we did it, we'll meet before we put it together. That way, you and I will talk about what administrative stuff I need you guys to review on projects going forward. And then you guys can always add things on. So just let me know if you want it on the agenda and we'll get it put in a packet so we have it for you. So.
Can you make sure to add more detail? Because I kind of feel like a lot of things are not addressed in writing for the packet, and there have been, like, the whole Blue Star Trail, just to hear that it's administrative stuff going on, in order to be effective as a commissioner, there needs to be, I think, information available. And
so in here, it states we are currently working on an interlocal government agreement for engineering for the path and where it'll be located. That's all I have right now. I don't have anything else to say about it.
Okay.
That's the current status and report on that project.
Okay.
So if I'd like to give as much information as possible in the report, in a summary of it. Right now, that's all I have. That's all the township board has. So, because one of the things,
I guess I would caution. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
One of the things you'll notice is between this report and the township board report, you guys are going to have the same information. They're just going to have your report attached to theirs.
And then
Everyone's getting the same information in the entire township.
right. So Joe you will do the parks because in the past, I had sent like Griffin a little update on the parks. You will just do that. You will do the parks update based on the information you pick up at our meeting and then present that to the board.
Yeah, so this park report will go to the township board with an update on anything that's changed. And it will then reflect in your next month's report. You know, if something else came up, like, oh, by the way, for example, you guys fixed a roof on one of the lean-tos or something, I believe, we would, you know, that would be in your report about something.
Okay. Did you want to say anything about the new email procedures? I know right now, I've been sending them both the old way and the new way to make sure everybody picks up on them. Is everybody on board on the new? Everybody's got a new email address and
Everyone get the letter. Some of you came in and got the letter, and I mailed the letter to you. So starting May,
Yeah,
Sorry, were you guys able to set that up? I had some trouble setting that up, so I gotta try again, I guess.
if you have problems logging in, just give me a call and I will work you through it. It is a kiosk, so it will not work in Outlook. You have to go in like old Yahoo style or, you know, some other email platform to check your email. But it will be there, and starting May 1st, that will be the only email communication for transparency. So
So if anybody's having trouble, go see Joe and get it worked out here in the next month. Okay, I think just one other comment, since we're changing our procedures a little bit. We're gonna have to work through this over the next couple of months. And like I said earlier, I hope at some point before too long, we can meet in person and it would make it a little easier for us to communicate with each other and work through some of these issues. And I will continue to talk to Joe so that to make sure I can explain to you and he can explain to you exactly what his philosophy is and how the Parks Commission would function a little differently than we have been in the past. Is that an accurate statement?
yes, over the next couple of months, the goal is to help facilitate some of these projects so that we can meet the park and recreation plan and meet your goals for what you want to look like for the community, so that we can meet those. We can do some large projects and be happy.
Okay.
well, I understand that as a final goal to actually get some things going, which I commend. It's good. I'm just wondering if these changes are philosophical or if that's we've been doing something wrong as far as the charter or whatever we've been elected to do.
No, nothing. It's the change is I'm working with Jim as the chair and then with you as the board to help the best way possible that I've worked with communities on to reaching their goals. And it has always worked in the past for my other communities, and I think this would work here very well with Saugatuck Township.
How are we alike?
In what way?
Where you've been? How are we exactly alike with that scenario? I mean, we've got kind of a unique community here where there's a lot of people who like to have hands-on and active participation. And I'm just wondering you know, we're, like I said, it's great to see that there's a lot of interest in focusing on getting things done. I don't see that changing not so much changing, rearranging how things are done is productive in getting that done. Because there's got to be some kind of a charter or some idea as to how this was designed to work for these elected officials, us elected officials. And it feels more like there's more things being taken off our plate versus assistance.
Nothing's being taken off your plate. It's the only thing that changed was the format of the meeting, just to help facilitate conversation. That's the only thing.
Okay, so there was, okay, so one thing that I wasn't, you know, I'm used to seeing the parks listed, and for example, the chips. I had a truck ready to go to at least deposit the chips for the dog park trail.
Mhm.
Where is that? Since you told me you wanted to be in charge of that. Where is that situation?
I asked for you to, you know, give me a call and we can schedule for it, and I'll get the key and we'll go out there. But I didn't get a call back. So I've been waiting for you.
Okay.
I just need, you know, as the manager for the township, I just need to know what's happening in our facilities because it could impact some other part of the township. And I just need to be aware of it.
Yeah, it was just it was a job that I think you were at the meeting. Tasks were assigned, and so it shouldn't have been a complete surprise, but either way, I'll contact you.
Like I say, I think it's going to take us a few months to figure out exactly how we want to do that. And again, we'll just work through it. Like any change. Okay. Anything else?
Jim, are we doing an open commissioner reports? Is that what we're doing now? Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I like the new agenda format personally. I found it very helpful to have a report in there of kind of, you know, Joe's interpretation of status on various park things that certainly he's involved with. And I kind of like that all funneling through him. I thought it was very helpful. And then one thing I wanted to bring up to everybody is I'm gonna do another Blue Star Highway trash pickup. Looking at April 24th to do that, kind of in line with Earth Day. I noticed there's still more trash along Blue Star from this winter, so I'm gonna coordinate an invitation to that for the folks that came out last time, and I'd like to send it out to the Parks Commission people.
Dana, can you send that to me? Because I have the quarterly newsletter that's coming out and I'd like to put that in there.
Yeah, yep.
Thank you.
And then I guess I just had maybe a question for Joe and the idea behind going over the park plan, and you know, what can we do to prepare for, you know, the first step in that strategic goal setting? I mean, is there anything we should do between now and our next meeting to prepare for that, or just wait for more instructions on, you know, the agenda for that meeting and review it a week ahead of time? Or
so the, you know, goal to help facilitate this is just read the park and recreation plan and look at our section of it and look at it, and kind of, it should list like items and projects that we want to do, rank them however you want to do, and rank them and say, I want to do this one first or that first, because then and it might not be at our May meeting, it might be in the June meeting, because I'm working on our budget stuff and I want to be able to create a productive meeting for this and exercise. And hopefully we can then do it outside by then for the park. So just kind of review that and kind of think long-term and even short-term, what do you want to see? Do you want to see new mulch in the park, in the dog park? Do you want to see trails throughout the, the expand into by the dispatch tower? Do you want trails there? Do you want to somehow find a way to connect our parks by trails? Whatever you guys think up, jot them down, and that can go feed into building the overall township capital improvement plan, which will then help us come budget season and grant applying season. We're all ready to go and we have the best applications possible. So that's what I would say.
Okay. That's all I had.
Okay. One other thought that I just had, last year when the weather was nice, we started meeting at the parks. So we could meet in person, but meet outside. I'm older, obviously, I've gotten vaccinated already. I think everyone becomes eligible sometime in the next week or two. Maybe not in May, but maybe in June, we could think about an outdoor meeting again. I'll just throw that out there.
That sounds good.
We've had other
That's all
outdoor
I have.
meetings prior to
Yeah.
vaccination, so I can't see why we wouldn't have one,
I agree.
so that we can at least work together and have some kind of exchange of ideas, which might generate other ideas.
Yeah, I think that's a little easier in in an in-person format. That was my only thought.
For sure.
Okay. If there's no other comments, I don't have anything else, so we'll adjourn the meeting. I don't have a clock in front of me, so I'll depend on someone else to tell me exactly what time it is.
6:57.
Okay, so we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:57. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Okay.
Thanks.